Welcome to the Only Roofers podcast. My name's Elizabeth, and this is my co-host Vince.
Hi guys.
This is Bennett. He's joining us from Aspen Exteriors. Welcome to the show.
Welcome on.
How's it going? Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
So Bennett, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah.
I'm Bennet Lanigan. I'm manager of marketing at Aspen Exteriors, 21 years old, and I've been in the industry since I was 17 years old, and
Wow.
it's been a fun ride. I enjoy every day, and actually I can't say that. There are some stressful days, but it's something different every day, and that's the thing I like, is it's different every day.
So 17 years old, were you straight into marketing?
I was not. So I did want to go into marketing towards the end of high school. Didn't want to go to college by any means. So that's a tough one.
Okay.
And then I was just working around, and then at Aspen, I've always known one of the owners. And I remember leaving a job really ticked off one day, and I called Joe. I'm like, dude, can you just give me a job at Aspen? He goes, yeah, I got this one job for you. It's $15 an hour, and you get to work from home. You know, back when working from home was cool.
Yeah.
I'm like 17. I thought I was like, it was like a Wolf of Wall Street. I'm like, dude, I just landed the best gig ever. And the catch was it was cold calling. So I realized why the job was open. Let's just say that.
It's hard.
What was your experience with that? Did you have like a script? How did you get? How was
or just
that
thrown
cold
into
calling?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was given a script, and it seemed like I don't like scripts. I mean, it just doesn't allow you to really communicate what you want to communicate. And the role of my position was to verify damages in areas, because there's storm reports all over the place. As you know, there's places like Hail Recon, Hail Strike. There's a bunch of hail services out there, and they're not always true. So the point of my position was to figure out actually where stuff was. And it's cold calling, and you get a lot of people, saying, who the hell are you, and all that stuff. And, there's sometimes I'd get off the phone and I just wanted to stop working for the day. And you just learn how to.
Did you have any success with cold
yeah,
calling? Let's not talk about the depression anymore.
So
let's move past the trauma.
Yeah, so the part that I actually started to enjoy it was I got rid of the script. I tore it up and I said, all right, now I know the information that I'm trying to get. Now I can.
You can drive the
it.
conversation.
Right. So then I just started to do that and learn a little bit of people skills over the phone. Of just like, first of all, when you start a conversation like that, hey, how are you doing? Oh, good. All that stuff, and you learn some phone skills. But that was my introduction to the industry. And then by the time I graduated, I told Joe ever since I was about 14, 15 years old that I wanted to go out and sell for him, because I thought roofing sales was cool. And it is. But you don't know what roofing sales is until you start selling roofs. I mean, I at first I thought roofing sales was going to be, me sitting in an office on the phone, maybe wearing a suit and tie or something. I don't know what it was. And then, all of a sudden I'm getting sent out to the middle of nowhere, Iowa, selling. I'm like, what is this? But yeah, 3 days after I graduated, I sat down in Aspen's sales training process. Trevor Anker, our sales director, he was teaching the class. And
how was that? Actually going through a company that had one of the biggest things in the industry is there's not any sales training program. There's no industry training.
Sink or swim.
Yeah. So what would you say is different about going through that program?
Yeah, that program, it really prepares you for what's going to happen. And I've heard it from both. I've heard people that have gotten really good training with the industry and they're thankful for it. And for people who haven't gotten training, who hear people who got training, they're like, you lucky dog. It was a really good experience. So Joe was the first person to really dig into that training and design it, and Trevor's taken it on from then. And Trevor does a really good job of really grooming you to set your own personal expectations of what you need to do to perform. And there's still moments to this day. I don't currently actively sell, but there's certain situations I run into in life where I still go back mentally to my sales training.
So you transitioned from a lot of different areas, cold calling to being out in the field selling to now marketing. How did you reach that moment where they decided you were a better fit for marketing, and what exactly do you do when it comes to marketing?
I was selling, and then it was the summer of 2019. I was out selling and really enjoyed it, and then just had pretty much got a call from Joe, and he goes, hey, that hail verification job that you quit to go sell? Yeah, we can't find anybody. I actually trained in 4 different people for that job, and the turnover, I look back on it part of it was probably having an 18-year-old sales guy, train somebody in for an office job. So part of it, I look at that, but still to this day, I still do that role. It is a tough job just with the hours to try to recruit for. So I went from sales back into that role, and then that was all when COVID was happening, and I was, being able to work from home in that gig, and had a little bit different structure with it. Moved into that, and then all of a sudden I was talking to Joe one day, because we're personal friends as well. I think we're sitting there watching football or something, and I just asked him, I go, Joe, who does your Facebook marketing? And he's like, well, yeah, that person does that. And then I'm like, okay, who does this kind of marketing? Who does this? I was asking him about a bunch of different marketing roles and responsibilities under what you call a marketing umbrella.
Right.
And all of a sudden it was like 8 different people did these things. I'm like, Joe, you're running a $24 million company. You don't even have a marketing department.
Yeah.
And he's like, never thought of that before, because they've gotten by just brute force training reps, recruiting and training, and brute force knocking doors.
Training is so big. You're a $24 million company, not really. Kind of, it sounds like
No
a little
marketing.
bit backwards marketing, call it that, and you still do 24 mil.
Yeah.
It's brute force.
Training is everything. Yeah, that's exactly what we were talking about throughout the show. Every episode we see the same thing. Like, what we've been really trying to drive is how training helps companies. So that's amazing to hear from your experience from being 21 years old, working for, 21 you said, right?
Yep.
$24 million a year roofing company, going all these different positions, being able to learn, retain this information to the point that you're now someone who's valued in the company.
Is that something you market it as a marketable thing to consumers? Meaning we're highly trained, well-trained, well-processed, specialized, so on and so forth. As the marketing director, is that something you push out to the public?
Not something as far as we push out to the public. It's because we're very specialized. Well, it's one of those things that our sales reps are trained on how to help and guide homeowners through the insurance process and no more. I mean, and also, we have as far as materials, but as far as production questions and questions when it comes to installation, that's all on the office. So the rep really doesn't need too much. They don't need to learn how to supplement. They don't need to learn how to order materials. They don't need to learn all these things because the office takes that in.
Right.
And the only thing the salesperson has to learn how to do is take pictures, knock on the door, and walk out of that house with a signed contract.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So what
stay in
is
communication with them.
what is like your one piece of advice for someone who's watching this show, maybe young, getting into the industry, or someone who's already been in the industry looking to recruit young people? What is your tip, advice, what your final kind of quote for them?
It all depends on what you want. I can never give somebody advice. I will never preach to the world to get into roofing sales, but it's one of those things that I never dreamt of getting into the roofing industry. It's one of those things, it's like, I didn't choose this life chose me. It's one of those things, you look for what you want and you see if that opportunity provides that. And for me, I didn't care if I was selling roofs or I was selling medical supplies, or I don't care what it was, but it provides something that's different every day, but it's still a single or solitary skill that I can define for myself and get specialized knowledge and be an expert and really just be a guru within the industry, but yet it's something different every day rather than just pushing a button in a machine shop or something. So, now to where it's marketing, I didn't go to college for marketing. It's been YouTube and mentorship, and it's great. I have, mentors within Aspen, and I have mentors outside of Aspen. Dimitri's been a great connection to know and be able to bounce ideas off of, and ultimately, there's certain things you're going to be able to learn in college and through life, and if you're young, sometimes you just have to hop into an industry, find a trusted person that, somebody you see, they have what you want.
That's doing well already.
And just get under their wing and beat yourself up and just...
Gotcha. Be open.
Right. Be open. When you make mistakes, be open about it and be the first one to fix it, and you just keep doing that, and all of a sudden you start making less mistakes, and just industry gets fun.
Yeah. Alrighty. Awesome.
Well, appreciate it. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Awesome.
Thank
you guys for having me.
for watching another episode of the Only Roofers podcast.
Thanks, guys.
Bye from Vince, Liz, and Bennett.
See you guys.
See ya.